The United States has long accused Iran of exporting terror, but the country itself has been a target of attacks for decades. Its leaders have a variety of very elaborate and very opaque counter-terrorism methods that have helped them thwart enemies both within and beyond its borders. One way the country counters its enemies in the region is by backing Shiite militant groups like Hezbollah, which take the fight to hotspots beyond Iran's borders in places like Syria. By reportedly harboring al-Qaeda members and allowing them safe passage through the country, Iran bought itself some goodwill from the Sunni extremists. It also helped that they both wish death to America.
The working relationship between al-Qaeda and Iran is a marriage of convenience. The two don't necessarily see eye to eye on a number of issues. However, they do, both of them do want to undermine the United States. They want to minimize its influence in Iran's neighborhood, and in the case of al-Qaeda in the Middle East and South Asia. So they have worked together when it suited their interests, and they have had a conflicting relationship when it didn't. So when the United States invaded Afghanistan in 2001, Iran welcomed it and actually worked with the United States to push back al-Qaeda.
Iran can't work with ISIS like it did with al-Qaeda because, simply put, ISIS's anti-Shiite stance is one way it distinguishes itself from al-Qaeda. ISIS has tried to establish an Iran affiliate and has even attempted attacks that were thwarted. The leader of this so-called cell was called Abu Aisha al-Kurdi. Local Iranian media reported he was killed in a counter-terror operation in 2016. But as the attack in Tehran showed, clearly the group has been able to make inroads. Intelligence gathering is one of Iran's major strategies for counterterrorism. This is headed up by the Ministry of Intelligence and Security. It arrests and interrogates individuals suspected of having ties to opposition, separatist, and terrorist groups operating in Iran. Critics say this intelligence gathering is a double-edged sword and has been used to monitor political dissidents and crush opposition to the government. Iran has worked a three-pronged approach to playing nice with the 4% of Sunnis living in the country. President Rouhani has tried to convey that Iran is not a sectarian player. Leaders have also reached out to Sunni clerics and worked to boost economic opportunities and development in Sunni areas. The Quds Force is an elite arm of the Revolutionary Guards. It mostly operates outside Iranian borders with groups like the Kurdish forces and Shiite militias. Their goal is to counter groups like ISIS and also to cause trouble for American and Western entities involved in Middle Eastern conflicts.
The Quds Force is one of the most active counterterrorism groups and units in Iran. But ironically, it's also one of the units that is in charge of helping terrorist groups like Hezbollah beyond Iran's borders. It's led by General Qasem Soleimani, who's become an icon essentially in the past few years. He's been publicizing a lot of selfies in Iraq and Syria, trying to show that he is the face of Iran's fight against ISIS.
Despite all these measures to cultivate allies and quell enemies, Iran has been and very much remains a target.